President Trump is hosting the Prime Minister of Qatar at the White House, and their meeting comes as the administration looks to make progress on securing a ceasefire and hostage release deal between Israel and Hamas. The U.S. has proposed a 60-day ceasefire that includes a phased release of remaining hostages. It would also see the withdrawal of Israeli troops from parts of Gaza, as well as further talks on finding an end to the nearly 3-year-long conflict. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata joins us now. And Charlie, thanks for being with us. President Trump is set to meet with Qatar's Prime Minister tonight. So what role does Qatar play in these negotiations?
Well, you know, it's a good question. I think we sort of have to frame it to where we are right now, because the Qataris have really taken on a role of regional mediators. So to have the Prime Minister here tonight, the president is hosting him for dinner, and this comes on the back of last week when the president hosted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So all of that suggests that some sort of progress has been made. And I think, when we use the word ceasefire, I think we have to be careful, because what's really negotiated now is a sort of temporary truce, that 60 days that you had suggested, because it will be a sort of phased incremental part. There will be an exchange of hostages, and there will be a pullout of certain Israeli forces from the Gaza Strip, but that's going to be phased. Now, if that 60-day truce holds, then they can talk about a more sort of permanent ceasefire, as it were.
So when are negotiators scheduled to meet again in all this?
Well, in a manner of speaking, the negotiations have never really stopped, because they've been going on in Doha. They kind of restarted again with intent on July 6th. So these negotiations at lower levels have been going on. And as I said, the U.S. president is meeting with the prime minister of both countries in the past couple of weeks. And a lot of these negotiations are going through Doha. So there is some optimism of a breakthrough. But the real telling point will be whether we see the Middle East envoy for the Trump administration, Steve Witkoff, head to Doha, and then we may see some developments. But I guarantee you, if and when there is a breakthrough, this will likely be announced from the Oval Office.
We know you'll be watching it all. Charlie D'Agata, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A stampede at a U.S. and Israeli-backed aid distribution site in southern Gaza has killed nearly 24 people. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams has the latest. Holly?
At least 20 people were killed at an aid distribution centre today in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. Desperate people went there looking for food, but instead they were crushed and suffocated. Now, that distribution centre is one of 4 hubs run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or GHF, which is backed by both Israel and the US, employs American security contractors, and began operations back in May. The group's mired in controversy, with the United Nations agency that supports Palestinian refugees calling it an abomination that causes, quote, nothing but starvation and gunfire. In a statement, the GHF said that 19 people were trampled to death and 1 was stabbed at the distribution point. The group claimed it had reason to believe that some in the crowd were armed and affiliated with Hamas and deliberately caused unrest. Hamas rejected that explanation and asserted that GHF guards and Israeli soldiers sprayed people with pepper gas and opened fire. Now, we are unable to independently verify exactly what happened. The GHF denies that any shots were fired into the crowd. But it is a fact that yet more people died in Gaza today. The Hamas-run health ministry says the death toll in this war is now over 58,000. Holly Williams, CBS News, London.